So I got back from Georgia Bushcraft and I learned a lot. I also picked up a couple of really cool items as well. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a big $10,000 giveaway that's going on. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So before we talk about the gear I picked up and the things I learned, I want to bring your attention to this giveaway that's being hosted by Simple Shot and the entire team at Georgia Bushcraft. So there's over $10,000 in giveaway stuff, and this will end November 15th. So you only have like a little bit over a day to get in on it if you want to win. So you need to go to win.simpleshot.com. They'll explain everything from there. There's a little QR code to get access. I will also put this in the community section. I'm not affiliated with this. I just thought if you want to participate, you may not know about it. So here you go. All right. So with that, let's talk about gear. Let's talk about what I got. So the first thing I got, which was awesome, this is a handmade slingshot from Darren Glenn Cook that he made with a multi-tool that I gave him, which is awesome. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to shooting it. If you don't know anything about Darren Glenn Cook, he is a phenomenal shooter of slings and actually went to represent USA in, I believe, like a special competition in Italy recently. Like him and his wife have been doing amazing work in this field, having a ball and shooting slingshots. It's really quite cool. If you do get a chance, you can find them on Instagram and go ahead and give him a follow. He's just a good people, just really good people. Anyway, he also has the most epic mustache ever. Side note. All right, so the slingshot was awesome. I love it. I actually didn't pick up that many things, but my wife and daughter did. They had a ball spending my money, which was great. Actually loved seeing them excited. My wife got completely hooked up by PNW Bushcraft, who had, well, everything she wanted for her organization in her life, so she's like thrilled right now. I picked up this from PNW Bushcraft, which is a foraging holster that you can put on your belt and is made of waxed canvas. It is a beautiful piece, but I have a different idea in mind. So what I'm going to use this for is I'm actually going to use it to carry stuff around in my shop, so that I can clear off my desks a little bit easier and then slowly but surely reorganize things where they're supposed to go. And vice versa, if I want to review some things or do a project, I can take a bunch of stuff, put it in the bag, and then carry it where I want to go without having to like have my hands full. So there's just some general benefits that I'm hoping this will work with. Maybe not, but it is a very cool piece and is very, very easy to wear. So you just kind of fold it up like so, and there you go. That's it. Nice little pouch that fits right on your belt, and it has some clasps, so if you wanted to attach it to other things, you could. And it also doesn't require you to take your belt off. So I like a lot of things about this, and just the quality of their products is phenomenal. This is not the first item that I've purchased from them. I have a bunch of organization pull string bags that are really slick. Highly recommend checking them out. I will try to leave a link directly to their website. Now, I also went over to LT Wright and I picked up two things from them. You know what? We'll finish with that. I picked up first, I got this, which is a friction folder. It is in AEBL. It is a Scandi ground blade and has a really, really sharp 90-degree spine. I'm actually kind of excited to play around with this in the woods. You'll notice that the handles are incredibly thick and bulky, and that's because they want to be as comfortable as possible when you are using it over a long period of time. So I'm actually looking forward to playing with this. It is a very different take on folding knives, and thanks to Woods Monkey for letting me check it out. This is really, really, really cool. Beautiful, beautiful design. Worth checking out. I don't know if it's a separate website from LT Wright. I believe it is. I will put a link to it if there is a link to that product directly. The other thing I picked up is another fixed blade knife. I know. Do I need another one? Actually, it turns out I did, because this might be the most enjoyable knife I have used in a long time. I've been using it every day at this point for every task I can think of, whether it's opening a box, cutting up food. This has been everything, and I have actually been carrying it on my hip everywhere I go, even in the environment that I'm living in, it is very, 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 very enjoyable. And at the end of the day, that means a lot. I'm also going to start making a habit of getting out every day to work with the knife in the woods to kind of make sure I've mastered the technique, because it is a different shape, a slightly different design. It's not a handle with a guard or a conventional one. So I want to practice in the lever grip. I want to try a bunch of different things with it. But overall, I am very, very pleased. It is super enjoyable, and I can highly recommend it. Okay, briefly, did carry the Lulu, didn't do much with it, but I really did enjoy it. It was really funny when I ran into Ben Peterson and I happened to have it in my pocket. That was not planned, but that actually worked out well. And I also got a chance to use the Demco Free Rein in MagnaCut. The MagnaCut I don't think matters that much in the context of what I was using it for. The AUS 10 would have been perfectly fine for it, but I still did enjoy it. I have to put that 90-degree spine on because right now it's only half of its potential uses. You know, having that curved back means it's going to be really easy for scraping things, but it doesn't do you any good if you have the chamfered edges. So I'm definitely going to be putting a 90-degree spine on the back of this knife. But I love the handle, love that sheath. It was very, very comfortable and easy to use, and very secure also. So that was great. All right, what else? What else we got? Let's talk about lessons learned here. Disposable lighters suck. Let's be clear. They suck, but not for the reason, like, they're still useful and it's good to have them. This is one from Clipper. I got in a big bulk pack. You know, they're not that expensive. But what happened is when I started to use them and I had to hold it with the flame going for any amount of time, what happened is that it heats up that little piece, the piece that strikes the ferro rod, so much, it actually becomes hard to hold after, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds. I would have much rather had something like the Exotac lighter. I know these are expensive, but just being able to like set it down, it's on fire, I could just reach underneath and I know I'm not getting myself, you know, an issue with that. I think I would have done this instead in retrospect, or at least had this as a primary and maybe these as backups if I needed them. So that is something that I learned. Flashlights. Let's talk about flashlights for just a minute. I carried in my holster the Ace Beam Tac AA. So this is what I was carrying. The multi-tool that I had on me, which was the custom I've talked about already, that worked great. Used it a ton while I was there. And I did use the Tac AA, but man, was it the wrong flashlight. Definitely too bright, too concentrated. It just has not enough flood for what I was looking for. At the very minimum, I should have taken the other variation, which has higher lumens, but disperses that the light a lot better. This also wasn't very easy to get in a moonlight mode. Getting it into that mode was quite difficult. I wasn't super thrilled with the UI. What ended up happening is I ended up pretty much just almost exclusively using the flashlight that I was wearing around my neck. And I've been keeping this here for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks now. And when I need light just basically at my feet for walking around, and that happened quite often, it was nice to have it on me, and I didn't have to go find or dig out a flashlight or find my holster or whatever it happened to be. So this actually ended up working out great. The low mode was just enough most of the time, and it has 3 modes, but it always goes back to that low. I really, really like the Phoenix E01. I think that would be one of my favorites so far from Phoenix flashlights. It doesn't need any improvements, basically. That being said, I got a bunch of flashlights that I wanted to give to my my daughter and my wife, but they only pretty much used the backup flashlights, which were the Baton 4 and the Perrin Mini 2. These were easy enough for them to use. They never ran out of battery. They were super convenient. The magnets came into play often. We attached them to the top of the tent to use as kind of like flood lighting. We did basically all different kinds of things with these, but the fact that they were always charged no matter what, and practically, and I haven't charged these since the beginning of the trip. We used them for 4 nights, and they barely used any power. I mean, now we were using it on low mode basically, but still, I'm impressed. I don't think you would need to do much of anything over a course of 2 weeks. You wouldn't have to charge or carry additional batteries. And the other thing that came into play is we had an issue with the power bank I brought. It read 100% when I left, and then when I got there, it went to 0. I had to recharge it, plug it into somewhere to charge it for everything we had. And you know what came in clutch? The fact that these are also power banks. So that actually came into play. Now, we were going to charge it. It turns out we didn't need to, but we thought about like, hey, if that other power bank didn't work, we would have these. Now, thankfully, it charged up, everything was fine, and then we went back to doing whatever. But had that not been the case, these would have ended up being very, very useful for charging cell phones. So, love these things, cannot recommend enough. If they go on sale again over the next day or so, because I think Olight's having their sale, you might want to take a look at getting one if you've been thinking about it. All right. What else was learned? Okay, a lot of stuff. I did a little presentation on multi-tools. I don't know if you'll see anything on that in any near future, but I learned a lot. More so, I think, than what they picked up from it, because I talked about the context of using multi-tools in the outdoors, why you would want to consider one. And I think they got something out of it, but I think I got more out of it because I realized how important it was to have multi-tools that are easy to use for everyone, specifically in deployment. Many of the people that were there had never held one before, or at least had always assumed that they were too difficult. And I had the opportunity to pass out some multi-tools from Roxxon, the Flash, or the S, I think 802, basically the one that is like the outdoors with the ferro rod, and everyone loved it because it was super easy to deploy for them. So they started to enjoy the use of it. The pliers were spring-loaded, so they didn't have to learn how to like manipulate the pliers in a weird way. I'm gonna think about what I learned from that experience, because there's a new investigation that needs to be made about how we construct these tools and who we construct these tools for. And so that's an interesting conversation piece that will come up hopefully in the near future. Overall, I had an absolute ball. I met a ton of people. I rekindled friendships with people I hadn't seen since March, which was great. Just good times in general. That's it. That's all I'm going to cover today. There's a lot more to do, but as always, thank you guys for your time, and we'll talk again soon.